Welcome, welcome. I wanted to speak today about erosion. From the perspective of the conditioned mind, what the mind calls you, what is completely familiar in the perceptive world of the dreamscape. From this perspective, the most important thing, beyond a shadow of a doubt, and it will remain like this, is the character called me. Even if it's a benevolent character, even if it's helping lost children, even if it's doing great service work, it always has a payback that it makes me feel good about me. Everything. The mind is constantly analyzing. It is constantly self-referencing. It is constantly seeing how I am doing and how I am received. It's a constant process in this dreamscape. And when the mind thinks I'm doing well, there's a sense of happiness about me. And when things are going poorly, there's a distress about me. This has nothing to do with wrong or right. It's the nature of the machinery. The thing about a journey like this, which in truth is so radical, and the deeper you go in, the more radical you realize it is that it is all about the death of the relationship with the character called me. And everything in the conditioning goes completely against this. Whenever there is a moment in the life where the relationship with the me character dissolves, there is a taste of this beauty. Everyone has tasted this beauty, or you would not be here. There is a recognition of this benevolence and love and unity. And for most, except for the most mature, there is a subtle story that is often not perceived because it's not creating tension. And the story that I am well, I am doing well. This is good. I feel good. So the way the wisdom works in this play, the mind story about the me character may experience this not infrequently as being ruthless. What's called ruthless love. Because you can only know yourself when the relationship with the conditioned me construct is freed. So what happens in the sophistication of the play to keep this relationship going is that the me character starts striving to taste what is called silence. to taste what is not in time, what is not someone. But the striving to taste that is coming from the conditioned someone. So it's an impossibility. It's impossible. You as a person cannot wake up from you because you are the distraction that creates all the distress. But there is this wisdom. In the beginning, the benevolence of this wisdom sometimes is recognized more freely because it will erode away this relationship with the conditioned mind believes to be the most horrifying thing, the death of me. What does the death of me mean? It means the recognition that humiliation is actually humility. Humiliation is actually humility, because the one who is being humiliated is the story of the separate character. And this will arise repetitively. It will feel like God is the kindest thing when it is giving something to the me. When I say giving something to the me, I can be talking about giving the taste of silence. So long as there is someone feeling good about that, it's giving something to the me. And it must be tasted like this intermittently, or the desire, the hunger for this would not be there. So there are these tastes of what it's like when the me character evaporates, but then so quickly it either returns or subtly it is there all along, unseen, because things are calm and the sense of spaciousness is great, and the sense that I am is felt. But what is not seen, perhaps, is there is someone feeling the sense of I am. So there becomes this addiction to feeling the nature of what the mind calls God. But there is not you and God. When the you is tasting God, the you may experience dissolution. There may be the taste of incredible love and peace. But if the you is experiencing the love and the peace, there is something that is still not burned off yet. And the way this burning off process works is the character will be given something, beauty, where the mind stops, where the movie is turned off, where the taste of unending peace is felt with the heart. And very subtly, this me character is feeling really great. But the wisdom is so much more sophisticated. It will wear this down. It erodes this by giving this taste of this exquisite beauty and then it will take it away. It will take it away. It is not a sign of something missing spiritually, which is where the mind will go. And if that is bought, you recognize the wisdom because nothing can be taken away from no one. We are all someone trying to become no one, but fortunately, it is not up to the someone. It is the pure wisdom that is running this process to free the light of being into itself eternally. Separation is created by suffering and an attempt to protect, to not feel the suffering. When you are willing to be taken on this journey, all this will recreate itself without the intention or unconscious habit to insulate so it is not felt. To not secretly call humility what is felt as humiliation. There is a tendency in this journey to whitewash everything. And it's appropriate because that's what draws people in. And it's true that it's speaking about the greatest absolute possibility. But it is not a possibility for the individual one. The individual one is killed on the battlefield. This is what happens. But instead of that being tasted as death, all that is realized is it is the birth of self-recognition. But self-recognition is very different from an opening that happens temporarily when things are going your way. And the only way you can know that is if the alarm goes off in the middle of your speaking and says, wait a minute, what the hell are you talking about? When the sense of someone goes away, there is no one left to have an opinion about anything. And it works this way in subtler and subtler and subtler ways. The mind wants to say, I'm complete. I'm done. I've done it. There is no identification with the body or changes. I am living in the absolute. But if you are living in the absolute with no relationship with the body's job would be finished. So long as there is breath, there is humbling that is still ongoing. And the greatest opportunity is the time of greatest challenge. The time of greatest challenge is when the body is breaking apart, because the body is the ego's creation. There really, in truth, is no body. What is a body without a concept? What is a body without a concept? It is amazing how real it seems. It is amazing how it is missed over and over again when there is this idea, I'm finished, I'm done. I can only speak in my experience, but what I can say is, I am not finished. I've never met a person in a living body that is finished. There are these rare beings who finish their karma and come into the body to be lights to spread upon humanity. But this is so very rare, so rare. What is not rare is reality. What is rare is living in reality. Reality has no gains and no losses. Reality is not a person, it's not a place, it's not a thing. All you can say about reality is what it is not, because anything something is an object that is being experienced by the separate character. And this whole journey is about the death of the relationship with this character. This is not what the egoic mind wants to hear. When I first became a student, if this is what I had heard, I would have turned and walked away. But I heard that this is like the joy and love of all creation. My mind thought, wow, that sounds pretty good. We are all humbled. Humbling is grace. When the true grace of humbling is realized, then it is no longer humiliation. Then the relationship is with the source that is ordaining all of it to bring the light of your being, the light of your soul, home to itself, freeing itself from this endless cyclical cycle of struggle. Grace is the passion. When there is the taste, there is the passion, because the self is so passionate. And the passion drives one. Eventually, the passion drives one to a point that when the taste is lost because of the wisdom of the ordainer, it feels completely unbearable. It is the one thing that is completely unbearable. And it will arise. And this is the deep burning. And then it will pass. And the taste returns brighter and brighter. And the humility is greater. And the understanding of the challenges that face this journey becomes more crystallized. There is a recognition of the rightness of it. And it will come and go until eventually personal will is broken. Just like a wild horse is broken, it will buck and kick and buck and kick until it realizes it is helpless. There's nothing that can be done. And this is how personal will is broken. It is not an easy path, but it is the path of greatest possibility. For until it is complete, there is a returning and a returning again and again. You don't have to look to future lifetimes. You can look at this lifetime. The things that are experienced as problems for me cycle around again and again. Until it is only about the beloved. Until it has nothing to do with the story of me and how terrible I am or how great I am, anything. What is there in truth? There is nothing. There is no speaking. There is no listening. There is no communication happening here. It is all appearance. It is all appearance. And to whom is this appearance occurring? Look and see. Look and see to whom this appearance is occurring. Like, for instance, it appears that Lily is sleeping, but as soon as I say that, her eyes open. It's all appearance. Everything is appearance. When the love, when the passion for the beloved is more important than the sense of well-being to the mind-body, this is when everything really starts to accelerate. Getting to this step is monumental. It's monumental. It is so often downplayed. It requires everything, but something silent inside realizes this is the whole reason for being here. You come as a vessel, as a vessel, as a servant of truth. This is the mission. Whether it happens on the last breath that the body is functioning, or whether it happens early in life, it doesn't make any difference, because to yourself there is no time. There is no time. There is no such thing as time. There is no such thing as perception. It is experienced. But this is what we come here to be free of, and we are freed from it not by everything going the way we desire, and then there is an opening and everything feels loving and beautiful. This is a beautiful thing, and it's necessary because it nurtures. It nurtures the hunger. But the openings and closings the fact that everything given as solid and unchanging as it may seem, no matter how long it may seem it lasts, it will eventually be taken until the point where it's being offered and it's being taken no longer matters. Just like a horse that has been broken, where it no longer matters whether someone is riding the horse. Well, the beloved God is riding this horse. And it will bring up every potential to kick and butt until there is nothing to kick against, because there is no false idea of me. Why? Because there is no me. As impossible as that may seem to the conditioned mind, you are consciousness itself. You are the unity of pure love itself. And love is a feeling. It is not a doing. It is not an achieving. It is not an accomplishing. It is a feeling. And the feeling is the feeling of a totality that is never touched by anything that appears to change. And the journey itself, at times, can feel to the mind as torturous. No matter where you sit, everyone can relate to this. As it is spoken so much less frequently than all of the glory and beauty. And the glory and beauty is equally important. It's just that the aspirant must be very mature to hear this type of teaching, because this type of teaching is about the final phase, the phase of annihilation. The key lies in a continual decrease of the involvement of the changes that happen in the play to the character. That becomes more and more secondary. And what becomes more and more primary, not through getting something, but the byproduct of the character being less and less of a constant focus, is the growing recognition of the feeling of your existence, which is here now, has always been here now. It is not something attained by someone. It is the feeling of existence, which is the feeling of being, which is the feeling of the self, which is the feeling of love and the feeling of beauty. And it's right here. Right here. Trying to get there as well-meaning as it can possibly be cannot do it. It is the simple decrease in the interest of the pleasures and decrease in the fear of the pain that is the doorway that loosens the grip and opens the attention to the infinite, eternal feeling of silence that has a vibration, and the vibration is pure love, and it brings forth this light, and this is the rejoicing. This is the rejoicing. This is why everyone you see on these YouTubes who have near-death experiences, people don't want to come back. There is a sense of finally being home. But home does not require the death of the body. It's right here. What it does require is the death of the involvement with the story of me. And then there is a witnessing of the character that once seemed like you, and who knows what the hell it will do. You're often not even aware of what it's doing. Sometimes what it is doing is bringing just joy and happiness to everyone. Sometimes what it is doing is igniting the fire that is burning away the conditioning. But in either case, you are uninvolved. Otherwise, it cannot work in its divine order. If there is any roadmap, it is not in divine order. And you can be guaranteed if a roadmap has been laid out for you, it's not going to follow that roadmap. It's stepping into the unknown. It's the willingness for the ego to be humiliated. It's the willingness for the ego to feel failure. It's the willingness to be just as open to the receiving as the taking away. And the receiving, the mind says, this is not receiving, this is the taste of truth. The taking this away is not like taking other things away. It's unfair and it hurts, and why should it happen? Because it is the erosion and the doorway into yourself. And it is only the wisdom of the self that knows how to do this.